Imagine a time when the world held its breath, teetering on the edge of a nuclear precipice. A young nation, fresh from the shackles of colonialism, dared to dream of power, of self-reliance, of a place among the global giants. In the mid-1960s, two men stood at the very heart of this dream. Lal Bahadur Shastri, the unassuming prime minister who had just guided India through a victorious war, and Homi J. Bhabha, the brilliant physicist, the undisputed father of India's nuclear ambitions. Their visions were intertwined, their destinies, it would seem, chillingly linked. Because within a span of just 13 days in January 1966, both men met their end. One, a sudden death in a foreign land, the other in a catastrophic plane crash. Coincidence, or the chilling hand of a deeper conspiracy, orchestrated by powers who feared a nuclear-armed India? Today, we delve into one of India's most enduring and unsettling mysteries, the Fateful Fortnight. Our story begins in Tashkent, then part of the Soviet Union. It's January 10th, 1966. Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, a man of incredible humility and strength, had just achieved a monumental diplomatic victory. He had signed the Tashkent Declaration, a peace treaty with Pakistan formally ending the 1965 war. The world applauded. India rejoiced. But just hours after this historic moment, in the early hours of January 11th, tragedy struck. The official report stated a heart attack. A sudden, fatal myocardial infarction at the age of 61. His body was flown back to India, where he was laid to rest with full state honours. The moment his body arrived in Delhi, questions began to emerge. His family, his wife Lalita Shastri and son Anil Shastri were immediately struck by the unusual appearance of his body. They described a dark blue hue, a bloated appearance, white spots on his face and temples. His wife was unequivocal. It was foul play. Even more unsettling were the alleged marks on his body. Family members spoke of cuts, one on his abdomen, which the government later attributed to embalming, and another, more controversially, on the back of his neck, reportedly bleeding. But perhaps the most glaring omission in this entire affair was the absence of a post-mortem. Think about it, a sitting prime minister dies suddenly in a foreign land and no autopsy is performed. This is highly irregular. The official explanation: to avoid adversely affecting international relations. A curious reason, wouldn't you say, if the death was genuinely natural? Adding to the intrigue were the conditions in the Soviet-provided villa where Shastri spent his last hours. Reports suggest his room lacked basic amenities like a call bell or a telephone. When he felt unwell, he had to walk to the door to summon help. In those critical moments, every second counted. The shadow of suspicion only deepened years later. In 1977, a parliamentary committee was formed to investigate the death. But before they could testify, two key Indian witnesses, Shastri's personal physician Dr. R.N. Chu and his personal assistant Ram Nath, both met mysterious ends. Dr. Chu and his wife died in a car accident. Ram Nath was struck by a moving vehicle, leaving him injured and with memory loss. Shortly after, he reportedly told Shastri's family he would shed this burden and reveal the truth. And all records of this committee's inquiry vanished. Over the decades, repeated right to information requests for files related to Shastri's death have been consistently denied. This iron curtain of secrecy, this unwavering refusal to provide transparency has not quelled the rumors. Instead, it has institutionalized the mystery, convincing many that there is indeed something profound and potentially dangerous being hidden. If his death was natural, what could possibly jeopardize foreign relations or national security? Just 13 days after Shastri's death, the nation was plunged into mourning once again. On January 24, 1966, Air India Flight 101 en route to London crashed into the formidable Mont Blanc in the French Alps. All 117 souls on board perished. Among them was Dr. Homi J. Bhabha, the brilliant mind behind India's nuclear program. Bhabha was not just a scientist, he was a visionary. He had passionately championed India's self-reliance in nuclear technology, and just 2 months before his death, he made a public declaration that sent ripples across the globe. India, he stated, could build an atom bomb within 18 months. His statement wasn't just a scientific prediction, it was a geopolitical statement. For the established nuclear powers, particularly the United States, a nuclear-armed India was a terrifying prospect. The official investigation into the Mont Blanc crash pointed to pilot error exacerbated by navigational issues. A tragic accident, they concluded. But the timing, following so closely on the heels of Shastri's death, and Bhabha's bold declaration immediately sparked widespread suspicion. The most prominent conspiracy theory was put forth by journalist Gregory Douglas, who claimed a former high-ranking CIA officer, Robert Crowley, confessed to the CIA's involvement in Bhabha's death. Crowley, according to Douglas, implied a bomb was placed in the plane's cargo hold to prevent India from becoming a nuclear power. When viewed in isolation, both deaths could potentially be attributed to natural causes or accidents, but when you place them side by side within a mere 13 days of each other, the narrative takes on a chilling new dimension. The question then becomes, was this a two-for-one strike, a coordinated operation to decapitate India's leadership and cripple its nuclear ambitions? From the perspective of a foreign power wary of nuclear proliferation, the motive is clear. The removal of Shastri, a strong leader who had just demonstrated India's military prowess, would create a political vacuum. The elimination of Bhabha, the scientific genius who had just put India on the fast track to nuclear weapons, would dismantle the very heart of the program. After their deaths, India's nuclear program continued, but it undoubtedly lost its most passionate and influential advocate, leading to an undeniable slowdown. India's first nuclear test would not occur until 1974, 8 years later. While the CIA is often the primary suspect in these theories, some also point to potential domestic motives. Shastri's death cleared the way for Indira Gandhi to become Prime Minister. This political succession adds another layer of complexity, raising questions about whether internal factions might have also played a role or at least facilitated a cover-up. But the most powerful piece of evidence, or lack thereof, remains the Indian government's persistent refusal to declassify documents. Their unwavering stance that releasing these files would harm foreign relations and national security acts as the ultimate validation for conspiracy theorists. The deaths of Lal Bahadur Shastri and Homi J Bhabha are more than just historical footnotes. They are a gaping wound in India's collective memory. They represent a pivotal moment when the trajectory of a nation, and perhaps global geopolitics, was irrevocably altered. In the end, we are left with a choice to accept the official story, which demands a high degree of faith in a system that has offered little transparency, or to grapple with the unsettling possibility of a meticulously executed act of strategic sabotage by forces determined to shape the world order. Thank you for watching Tales of History. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the past and learned something new about the events that shaped our world. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who love history as much as we do. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future episodes. Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating stories of history with us. And remember, history isn't just the past, it's the key to understanding our present and shaping our future.